Hi, folks. I'm Jamie Hiles.
I'm Lydia Judy.
I'm Derek Lemaster.
This is Screen Bloody Movies, the podcast where we review a horror movie each week. We go over the horror news, and guys, if you can make it through this episode, you'll get $1 million. I kid. I don't have $1 million. If I had $1 million, we would have made our movie already.
Is that a legal contract?
Not a legal contract. Not a legal contract. Not a legal contract. I'm going to put it right there. Guys, you know what today is? Today is House on Haunted Hill Day. We are doing the 1999 version of William Castle's House on Haunted Hill. But before we get into all that stuff, because we have a lot to talk about with this movie, kind of. We have a lot to talk about, and we also have a lot to just talk at with this one.
Derek is frozen.
I'm not frozen.
You're freaking me out. What are you doing with your eyes?
I was going to do it until you guys said something.
Fucking wild. Put your glasses back on. You're freaking me out.
I was like, I'm going to do this until they say something.
You were just super excited about the House on Haunted Hill. But we have a lot to discuss. Like I said, talk about, maybe talk at. But before we get into that, we here at the show like to do a little bit of horror news. So let's strap on this horror news to see what we got. Guys, guess what? Ready or Not, Here I Come has wrapped filming and is going to be released in April of 2026.
Nice.
April 10th of 2026.
Next
How are we feeling?
Is this a sequel?
You've not seen Ready or Not, have you, Derek?
Nope.
We'll have to remedy that soon.
Yeah.
Yes, this is a sequel. This is a sequel. So it's all you need to know, Derek, is it's another Samara weaving joint. There you go. You be down with that? Are you all right? What are you doing?
Yeah, I wiped my eye.
Well, it's probably because you decided to open them fucking 10 yards.
Yeah, they were watering really bad, so I needed to wipe the tears away.
This is going to be one of those where Derek falls asleep.
No, we should do one of these when we get sloshed.
We will. We'll do one. We'll do the drunk episode. It'll be fun. You have to be in charge of recording it and everything, though. So
I will do my best.
We'll do it together in person.
Yeah.
That's a bad idea.
We'll do a campfire episode.
A great one. Great idea. But guys, we're getting off traffic. We gotta stay on topic here because guess what? Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein has released its trailer. You guys have seen this?
Yes,
Nope.
I saw it.
It looks phenomenal. Right, Lydia?
It looks really good. Yeah, it does. It looks really good.
It is releasing
accurate.
Yeah, it is releasing November of this year on Netflix. We're 2025. So it is. The trailer's out. The teaser's out. Looks dark. Looks menacing. Looks Guillermo-like. And it has just been rated R for bloody violence and grisly images. That's what we like to hear, right, guys?
Oh, yeah.
Word.
Give us the gore. All right.
Jamie, do you have a clicky pen in your hand?
What are you talking about? I don't have clicky pens. Yes, I do. This is some really fucking weird news. So Octavia Spencer's returning as Ma in a sequel, Ma 2.
Nah.
You guys remember
I
Ma?
haven't seen the first one.
Nope.
So it came out in 2019, and it was a sizable hit. It made $60 million at the box office. We don't know if the writers and director are returning, but it's interesting. We'll have to do it at some point. I mean, probably a couple seasons from now, but we'll have to get to it. But that's interesting that it's coming out. I thought it was fine. It's one of those like social, like, I don't know. It's kind of a thriller about like a psychotic woman who calls herself Ma and wants to like thinks that she's a kid. I don't know. It's interesting.
Do you know what I think of whenever you say that?
What's that?
I think of that scene from Stallone's Judge Dredd, where that I don't know, that human cyborg guy was like, "Mwah!"
Oh, interesting. Yeah,
That's what I think of.
I don't think of Stallone's Judge Dredd at all because it's terrible. It's been replaced by the good Dredd at this point, right? I mean, Dredd's way better.
Dredd is good.
Yeah, fucking rips. So last week we looked at so a terrible NECA figure was coming out, right? Like it's one of the worst ones we've ever seen of Jenna Ortega. Or the ballsack demon, the other one right there.
Yep, I'm glad you understand.
The ballsack demon from Lost Boys. Well, here we've got some good NECAs on the way for this season. You guys want to see him?
Let's see it.
All right. We have Michael Myers from Halloween 6. Pretty good, right?
Slimy.
Yeah.
Mrs.
What
Voorhees.
is that thing next to him?
This is that stupid. Remember what? That's like on the kids put that in front of his house, the Strode's house, and he cuts it down. He's like, "Goddamn kids!"
Dude, Mrs. Voorhees looks fucking terrible.
I think it looks. I mean, it's a decent likeness. What do you think, Lydia?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
It's all right.
An interesting face.
I mean, you do you, boo.
This one's not bad. The last one there on the whole far right's pretty decent. The red, look at this. The Red Death.
Oh.
That looks phenomenal.
That does look really good.
Yeah.
They redeemed themselves with that one.
Yeah, that's a good one. And then Beetlejuice, of course.
Well, that looks really good.
Yep. Looks like him, right?
Yeah. Marriage agreement.
And then, look at that.
Whoa.
That looks awesome.
Yeah, that's incredible. And then these Chuckies.
What?
Dang.
From a Cult.
Mm-hmm.
Looks pretty great, I think, right? These all look great. And that's it. So, so Derek, you're not a fan of this one, is what you're saying.
No.
But the rest of them you're a fan of.
Yeah.
I think that Michael Myers looks pretty solid, the Halloween 6 one.
Yeah, I agree with that.
It looks like
Michael
it's a good
Myers
likeness.
does look pretty good.
It's a good likeness. What do you guys think of Michael Myers' Halloween 6 look? Like, a lot of people either love it or they don't, right? I mean, I think it's fine.
Is that the one where he had like the bleach mask?
No, that's part 4.
That was 5.
Part 6. No, it's part 4.
Is the one with the we just watched, right?
Yeah, part 6 is the one we just watched with the 2 versions where he has like the big hair. His hair's kind of big, is what I kind of don't love about it. It is a little portly, but I think it's a good Michael Myers.
I'm trying to Google it, and it's just not showing me that at all.
Well, here, let me do it real fast for us.
It's just showing me 100 different masks that I couldn't possibly
that you couldn't
decipher.
All right,
which one's which? I think
there's certain shots where it looks pretty good. I think here it looks pretty good, right? But then I think here it kind of looks fucking terrible because of the lighting. In this one, the lighting's fucking awful too.
Yeah, what's up with that?
So,
but I don't
good
think
lighting.
His hair looks terrible or anything.
Well, it kind of looks kind of wild there.
Yeah, maybe a couple.
But it's not bad. I think it's a solid mask, right? Solid design.
Yeah. Here,
then,
what about this one? What about that one? How do you like that?
That's the worst one they've ever. Is that the one that somebody made?
He looks like a fucking alien.
It looks like somebody bought it on eBay, maybe.
That's hilarious. That's a terrible one. Let's just move on. We have one more piece of horror news. I'm trying to
figure out how to get out of here. Hang on.
Okay. That one's fucking wild, Lydia. That one's special. And then our final bit of horror news is this. Last week we had a couple bits of Mike Flanagan news. This week we've got one last piece of Mike Flanagan news, which is an update on the Dark Tower series that he's doing. So last week we heard that The Exorcist is not coming out on March of next year. March of 26, because they haven't even started shooting. But this, he says, is coming along well. It was announced 2 years ago. So he says that it's not that I've put it down, it's just that it's this big thing, like it's a big oil tanker. But he is working on it. So Stephen King is asking me about it more, and I'm not going to let him down. So Mike Flanagan just recently did his latest Stephen King adaptation, which was The Life of Chuck, which is not a horror film. So, of course, he's doing more and more Stephen King. Are you guys excited to see his Dark Tower? Do you guys like the Dark Tower in general?
I don't know much about the Dark Tower.
I don't either.
I need to get into that, though.
It's a wild fucking trip when you guys get into it.
I did not see the Matthew McConaughey movie.
That's good because it's terrible. But
I need my glasses, guys.
Oh, good call. It's not good, but the books are good. When I read the first book, it was it was in the group of paperbacks that my Aunt Lindsay had given to me, and I was like, "Oh, Stephen King, the Gunslinger, the first Dark Tower book. Let me check this out." So I went in cold, knowing nothing, and I read the book, and I was fucking in love with it. I was like, I got to read the rest of these.
Yeah.
So that first one's excellent.
Do you think Mike Flanagan's gonna knock it out of the park?
Well, it's Mike Flanagan. I think Mike Flanagan knocks everything out of the park. Is he shooting it? Is it a film that he's making? Then it's going to be great.
Yeah.
He's going to knock it out of the park.
Yeah.
It's a talented motherfucker. Right? I mean, just another level. And that wraps up the horror news. So, guys, picture it. It's 1999. I'm about to enter high school. Derek is about to enter his third year of college.
Watch it.
Lydia is swimming around in a primordial ooze.
No, I wasn't that. I was, I don't know, going into second grade or something.
Derek was actually a sophomore, right? You'd be a sophomore?
In what year?
No,
1999? Yeah, I would have been a
sophomore.
sophomore, yeah.
Right. So Derek
you were
was
a freshman,
sophomore.
right?
I was not a freshman. I was about to be a freshman. I was my 8th grade. So, in 2000 is when I entered the School of Highs.
Nice.
Because,
And
it was
lows.
easy. Yeah, it was easy for me to. It's easy math for me because I graduated in 2004. So it's just 4 years before that is when I started school.
Yeah. I think I was like in maybe first or second grade, in 2000,
you were a kid.
so I can't remember.
But this movie came out in 1999, and do you guys remember? Did you guys? This is obviously none of our first times watching this, but did you guys see it? Do you remember the trailers for this, or did you see it when it came out, Derek?
I saw it when it came out. Now, this would have probably been one that we rented from the video store. Just because I don't know that anybody I know would have taken me to see this movie. But yeah, I definitely remember watching the trailers on TV.
Yeah. Lydia, you probably didn't come to this thing until later, right?
Yeah, I think I saw this probably around 7th grade when I got my first TV in my bedroom, and I think I watched it on TV in there.
Nice. Yeah, I rented this. I remember seeing the trailers for it. I was interested in it. I was excited about it. Thought it looked pretty cool because I was into my horror phase had started. Like it never really ended, but like it was when I started getting into horror. This because 1999, 2000 was when the most important thing in my life happened, which was I discovered Evil Dead, and it like changed my life completely. And Army of Darkness, Evil Dead 2, and then Evil Dead, and then I was all about the horror 24/7. But I was really into horror at this point. But Dark Castle Entertainment was the company that they created to remake William Castle movies.
Ah.
So this and 13 Ghosts were both made under the Dark Castle banner.
Interesting.
But I remember seeing the trailers. I was in love with Vincent Price, so I remember seeing this. Jeffrey Rush's character is named Price, and he is obviously his look is modeled off of Vincent Price.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, this looks good. So I remember one spooky night us renting this and watching it, and I've seen it a dozen times probably. I mean, it's on. I've seen it a lot. Not like sit beginning to end all those times. This motherfucker was on like Sci-Fi all the time, right?
Yeah, it was.
This was on Sci-Fi, and it was also like on like the AMC's like Monster Fest and stuff. This is one of those movies.
Yep.
So I'm sure you guys have seen it multiple times as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
When was
I probably maybe 3 times.
When was the last time you saw this before this watch?
It's been a long time.
Yeah.
It has been a very long time for me. I remembered everything, but there's also things that I remembered being better and cooler when I was younger, and I was like, okay, so we're going to talk into some of those.
I mean, I will say this. I don't think that this movie aged very well.
No, it did not. It did not age very well.
Yeah, I definitely have a lot of thoughts on it.
Yeah, there's some stuff that's cool. There's some characterizations that's cool. There's some cool scares in here. There's and some great performances. But there's also some wild fucking late 90s shit going on. And
yeah. Like, there's some stuff that is better than what I remembered, honestly.
There's some stuff. But I had the opposite effect. There was a lot of stuff that not that I ever thought this movie was fantastic. But there was some stuff that I was like, ugh. That was not like I thought it was.
Yeah.
But let's get into it. Because we get this opening that I think is pretty effective and pretty good. Right? Do you guys like this cold open? In the hospital?
I'm trying to think. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think it sets up at least like the story that's about to unfold. Like you get the gist of it. You understand what's going on.
Yeah, correct. I think it not only sets that up, but it kind of sets up a pretty cool atmosphere, and we get kind of like some good scares immediately, and like some like at least creepiness. You know, we have all of the inmates overrunning the asylum, and we see these people being tortured, and then the place gets burnt down. We're like, oh man, this is pretty good. And we jump basically right from there into introducing Price's character, the character of Price. And I've got to say, guys, of all the things in this movie, this stuff I kind of like the most. Him at the amusement park. I think this shit kind of fucking rips.
Dude, this amusement park, man, it would be wild.
The best amusement park of all goddamn time is what it would be.
No, it wouldn't. You know how many people you would literally have suing you for heart attacks?
Yeah, that's true.
Well, you have to say enter at your own risk, and
I understand that, man, but that would be too much.
I love this shit.
I think like your first 2 rides, and then you'd be like, oh, I get it.
Now I get it. Yeah, now I get it.
I don't know, man.
Dude, there's a couple of great bits. So the whole elevator thing.
Yeah.
In the elevator when it falls down.
Like that one's okay. That one's great. I would ride that
That's such
ride.
a good effect. It's so fun, and then he's just like, huh? You know, we're like, oh, this guy, I kind of fucking like him. He's cheeky.
Yes, and Spike from Buffy is in it.
Yeah, Spike from Buffy is the cameraman.
Like,
I have a moment like that too when I see Famke Janssen later. Actually, all the female leads in this movie are pretty. Veronica Vaughn, so hot. Want to touch the hiney. But I love the bit where he like lowers his glasses and the roller coaster goes over. It's fucking cheesy as hell, but I kind of dig it. I think it's cool. But Derek, you're right. This roller coaster is a wild fucking roller coaster. Because they give us a bait and switch because we think. They make you think. Like I remembered what happened, so I didn't. But as I'm watching, I was like, oh yeah, this is because it does make you think, oh shit, this ride's going to break down. we're going to see these people's deaths. And then he's like, Price, there's a problem. He's like, as he's talking to Famke Janssen, what's the problem? And then it fixes itself and everything. He's like, the one guy's arm is like flailing around. He doesn't look real. He's like, well, then turn him into a screamer. This shit's fun, right?
Yeah, for sure.
I really did like that.
And then
comparing the Price character to the original film.
Oh yeah,
it makes so much sense that this guy would be this way. Like it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and we'll get into the remake stuff, obviously, if we do it. But yeah, there's some obviously interesting characterizations in this as well. The and the ghost situation is way different, obviously. But
yeah,
we're introduced to Famke Janssen as his wife Evelyn. We're introduced to her in a bubble bath, like I said, and immediately they're like awful to each other because that's the characterization. They like hate each other, right? Mm-hmm. They like hate each other with the passion. She's like, "When are you making me when are you making my party list for the thing for my birthday party?" He's like, "I'm doing it now. You know, I saw your party list," and he's like, "I'm shredding it," which is hilarious to me. That he literally says to himself, "I found it, or I got it here in the shredder." Then he types up this other list of people, and then the people that she hates. He's like, "She hates this guy." They mix it of people she hates, and then it gets deleted, and it just starts getting rewritten. And so up to this point, I'm like, this movie's fun. Yeah, I like the style of this. And then here's where the hard cut happens, where it starts to get fucking chintzy. We get Marilyn Manson's Sweet Dreams over a horrible montage of them in the limo. What do you guys think of this bit?
It's very...
It took me back, that's 90s. For sure.
Yeah, it's just not the best. Because these characters are...
Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was going to say, because the characters they're kind of thrown at us, and we get like kind of no character. You know what I mean? We get like no setup and no characters. It's just like, oh, by the way, these people are here. You're just like, fuck. Okay.
Yeah.
What are you going to say, Derek?
There were definitely some Manson heads in my class, or I think they were all in my grade. And I was like, wow, you guys need new idols. Anyway.
That's what you interrupted me for, was that story. About Manson heads and you disagreeing with their... I disagree, you need new idols.
I mean, I wouldn't have said it like Beeson, but, I mean, yeah. It's a parabola.
It's a parabola. Look, guys, it's a rainbow. That's hilarious. But we're kind of introduced to these characters, and I kind of hate the way we kind of introduce them in the house, right? Because we get Chris Kattan's character, who is the owner of the house. He plays the Pritchard character from the original, right?
Yes, which I liked him in this role.
Chris Kattan is, I think, my favorite character in this, besides Price. I think he's really good in this.
Yeah.
Because he's interesting. He's,
I agree, yeah, actually.
He's funny.
He was the best one. And he didn't do much, but he brought a lot to that character, I thought.
He did. He did. A character that probably was underwritten was, turned into this really good character. Yeah. I dug it. I thought he was good. Yeah, so he kind of, brings him into the house. And then we get this whole elaborate setup. And that's none of this makes sense because he has the cashier's checks for $1 million if they can stay the night in this spooky house. But he's like, I don't know who any of these people are. Okay. And this is where it gets confusing.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
So was he going to bring the people that she hated and have them, obviously that's the plan, and then have them do this $1 million challenge? But what's the point of it? Because all of them were going to make it out unless you scared them, I guess. But it's not like he had elaborate setup to do the scares.
Did the house make the list, or
The house
did
made the
she
list.
The house
hack
did make the list, yeah.
The house did make the list.
So
So
how did the
she
house?
sent him a list. He made his own list, and then that list got deleted, and the house made a list.
I
Because
didn't pay attention to who all was on each list, but was the guy, like the doctor guy, was he
I
on
don't-
any of the list? How did the house know to put him there?
I don't understand how he got on there. I don't know how Peter Gallagher's character got on here.
Well, I guess
Is-
was
I think he just
related?
showed up.
Maybe he
Were they
did
all
just
supposed
show
to be
up.
like related to the? Because I don't think that even plays through really.
So it does. So it's all convoluted. Here, I'll break it down real fast. So the house changed it to the ancestors of all the people who escaped the house.
Right.
And
That's
so all of
cool.
them are the ancestors of the people that lived and made it through, except for the doctor's character who just showed up. I think you're right, Derek. He wasn't maybe on the list, but he showed up because he's banging. Famke
Well,
Janssen's character.
And the girl who gave her not real name.
Well, she was related to. So I think the way that
Because
works,
the name was Jensen, and that was her fake name that she gave. So she wouldn't have actually been related to the Jensen.
right. I think
in the
she
photo.
took it. She took it from the person that died. Remember So it was sent to somebody else, a friend of hers, and the friend died, and then so she took the place. Isn't that right, Derek?
Oh.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Trying to remember. So yeah, Sarah is Ali Larter's character. So yeah, so Sarah, we find out. I'm trying to see if I can figure this out completely, but I'm pretty sure that we find out that she is. God, dude, this freaking entry is so long because of how stupid all this shit is. Her real name's Sarah Wolf. She recently fired. She was the recently fired assistant of the real Jennifer. She impersonated the real Jennifer, hoping to win the prize money. That's what it is.
Ah.
So yeah,
I missed that.
That's because it's not very well explained. I just knew that she took the place of somebody, but that's who it is. Her assistant. She's the assistant. She gets fired. She steals the ticket, takes her job, or takes her her identity, so she can win the $1 million. So she's not related.
That makes sense.
Now Eddie's related, but he was adopted. So, but he's still kind of the family, I guess. Or at least maybe that was a joke that he said he's adopted. I don't know.
Yeah.
But so now that we got all that crap out of the way, which is wild.
Yeah.
Let's talk about some of the scenes and scares in this thing, because the scares aren't great. I will say that.
What scares?
Yeah, the scares aren't great. And the deaths aren't great. The tone's fun, but so the first one to die is Veronica Vaughn. As her name, and this is, what is it, Melissa? Yeah, Melissa Margaret Marr. So she separates from them when they're searching for Price, right? And she gets attacked by the ghost.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't really see what happens to her for a while. We see her camera, which, by the way, that camera was state of the art when this movie came out.
Dude, that was a cool camera.
That's funny.
What even was that? Was that digital, or was that?
It was digital.
You could fit a whole tape in there, I bet.
I think it was a not digital. It's one of the one of these tapes, a micro tape.
Yeah. It was something.
One of these fellows here.
The amount of time that she got out of that tape was impressive.
Either one of these guys.
Yeah.
Or it was a mini DV, which is about half the size of this. But it's probably one of these DVs. This is what I used in journalism class when I was in high school.
Yeah, I got some of those in the tote that's right behind me.
Oh, great.
Yeah, I don't have any of those.
I have tons because
I didn't even own a digital camera until I was in my 30s.
Well, this guy right here, one of these has some of our nightly show episodes. Some racket. There's some racket concerts on some of these, and some of our wrestling days are on here as well. We used to do professional wrestling. But yeah, the we get a scare with Eddie.
I don't
want to
know what's on mine.
I mean, that's also a...
No, I mean, like just me being really embarrassing, like a little girl with a camera.
Well, I'll tell you this. I got a story to tell at the end of the podcast. But so Eddie, what do you guys think of the bit where Eddie, like, where she thinks she sees Eddie and he walks into like the blood? The blood.
I thought that was cool,
bank.
and then they never did that again. So then it kind of made it less cool.
Yeah, she sees him, and then she gets trapped in there, and they have to pull her out. Do you guys like that?
It's okay.
Yeah, I didn't hate it. I didn't hate it. I like that moment of like, what? And then she's like, oh no, I'm being pulled in by this thing.
Who are you talking to? She says, or he says.
Yeah.
And then she gets pulled in. But yeah, so basically this thing starts to get convoluted pretty quick. What ends up happening because they're locked in. They're locked in overnight. The house locks them in because Price has a dude sitting at the camera with a CCTV camera that supposedly, I guess, is there to make some scares occur. But I don't know where any of them are set up. Like, if his plan was to scare these people to make them leave, how was he going to do that? Just be like, blah, blah, blah. I don't know what his plan was here.
Yeah.
Because they have the guns that were welded shut that he supposedly put blanks in. I mean, he did put blanks in.
Well,
but they were replaced with real bullets, and I think she did that.
It makes more sense in the original.
Well, yeah, we'll talk about all that.
I cannot talk. That's one of my favorite movies. Like, I watch it every year, and I'm just like, this movie is hard to watch without talking about that movie.
Yeah, I mean, Derek hasn't seen the original.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen the original.
That's insane to me. I've seen it so many times.
Yeah, I mean, it's public domain. You can find it literally anywhere. So what do you guys think of so basically we start getting some of the backstory. It's being like kind of drip fed through this, but we're finding out that basically this doctor was like by the way, did you see who plays the doctor, right?
Yeah.
Jeffrey Combs
is
the creepy doctor.
Reanimator.
From Reanimator, correct. And the Frighteners.
Oh, yeah.
He's fucking phenomenal in the Frighteners. He's so great. Dammers, he's so good in that movie.
Mm-hmm. My body is a roadmap of pain.
Yeah, so good. Yeah, so the doctor is doing these horrible experiments on everybody, basically. And then they, like what we saw at the beginning, it turned over everything. So then after they cause the fire and kill everybody, the darkness is trapped in there, I guess, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of that's what is kind of going on.
Yeah, in this house that everyone keeps referring to as a house.
And dude, by the way, we got to talk about that. This is not a house; it's a hospital. A, and B. Look at this. This thing is like an Art Deco
side
masterpiece
of a
of some
cliff
sort. Hanging on the side. Kind of weird, right?
Defies all logic. It's super weird. I just they keep calling it a house the whole time. Like, what kind of houses have you guys been to? Like, this is not a house. They just had to call it that.
Yeah,
title.
So, I don't know what to say about this one, guys. There's just so stuff happens, but also doesn't happen at the same time. Because really, the only we have her death and we have some jump scares, and then we have Evelyn is being electrocuted on the electroshock. They all find her, and she's dead. She's dead, and Price is upset about it because I don't know why. Because he wants to kill her. I don't know. But he's like, one of you people did it, and I know I didn't do it, and you're getting with murder and
See, I took that as him acting to them like, "Oh, I couldn't have done this. You guys must have done this." Like, that's how I took his. It was for a
yes,
performance.
it is correct because he does know about them, so it would stand the reason since he knew about them that he would know that that they were in cahoots, so that she wasn't probably dead. But it's kind of interesting that the shape it takes. You know what I mean? The shape it takes because he ends up being locked in this room, and which is actually a pretty effective scene because there's this thing that goes around, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like the images, and it's like these guys bouncing the ball, and it's kind of creepy. He puts on these fucking Bizarro glasses, by the way.
Yeah.
Ah! I'm like, what the fuck?
It was like, in case of psychotic break or something crazy on the sign.
Wear these, and he puts them on.
He's like, okay, and then I'll just grab this, and then I'll just go absolutely insane.
Yeah.
Whoa.
So they, and somehow he gets out of there, by the way. But
they let him out.
Well, yeah, they let him out. They do. But I'm saying that for Evelyn, because she places when the murder happens, because after she brings back the doctor, who we find out this all happens in a span of 5 minutes. By the way, she brings the doctor back, or the doctor brings her back because she wasn't really dead. We find out that they're lovers, and then she immediately murders him.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
All super quickly, so that way she can pin the murder on Price. Because the plan is for her to Price either to be dead, and she has to. So the plan is her plan, their master plan, is to scare the other residents into thinking Price is a murderer, so they will shoot him. They will be dead, or he'll be dead, and she'll inherit his money.
And she would have got away with it too.
I guess if
kids.
That's quite the convoluted plan, but
I mean, they're already spooked. They have a firearm,
I suppose. But I mean, just
kind of a crazy person. The person that they left him with is now dead and decapitated.
Well,
I don't know. I get it.
That wasn't part of the original plan. Him being decapitated. I'm saying is,
I think she decapitated him, didn't she?
She must have.
But she did. But what I'm saying is that wasn't part of the original plan. The original plan was to spook them enough that they shot him after they found her dead.
Mm-hmm.
But
they weren't scared enough, so
they weren't scared enough. But
she needed a body.
To pick it up a notch.
Just to go through all of that, instead of staging like some sort of accident, is kind of wild, right? But I guess she originally had it planned for a specific group of people, right? Because that was the original guest list.
Mm.
So who knows? It's all convoluted. But you talk about the movie we watched last week having like kind of a confusing plot. This plot is like you have to fucking decipher it. Like you have to decipher this bad boy. So essentially, Evelyn kills him, cuts his head off. They go to let Price out, and they find out that he's not there. The head's there, so they're like, "Oh my god, he's the murderer." And Evelyn's like, in the shadows because she's supposed to be dead. They come across Price after that and think that he's trying to kill them. He's trying to talk to them. Hey, listen, I didn't do it. And then she shoots him multiple times in the chest. And he's dead. He falls over dead. They leave. Her and Eddie leave. Eddie, and Chris Kattan, they leave. And then she has like a monologue to Price's like deceased body. And he's like, "I'm not dead, bitch!" Ha ha! Pops up and like starts like throwing her through walls and shit. Here's where it gets confusing because we saw the ghostly activity already happening, but when he throws her through the wall, it like unleashes the darkness, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
The main darkness that was hiding in the darkness room that it hangs out in. And then
Yeah, when
immediately,
Chris Kattan when his character was like, "Oh, that's not the way out. Don't worry about that."
yeah, you don't go in there. That's the darkness room. But he ends up throwing her through the wall. Which, by the way, goddamn, throwing her pretty hard, man. Throws her through this wall, and then she gets sucked in by this being. Guys, what do you think of like the fucking the cloud, the darkness cloud here?
Not great.
It's it definitely ages the movie really bad.
Yeah. So here's the thing: it's not even the CGI because I can forgive that. This movie was made in 1999. CGI wasn't there yet. That's fine. As a concept, during this time, the darkness cloud was a fucking big deal. Like so many ghost movies around the turn of the century had the main antagonist be like a giant black ghost cloud. This, think about The Haunting. We have a ghost cloud. Oh, hey, look at that. But this, The Haunting, you think about Rose Red has a ghost cloud at one point. All of these movies have just ghost clouds. It was a trope of haunted house movies, I guess.
Yeah, it moves at like a snail's pace. It's
it's just
creepy,
like kind of,
but it's not like terrifying or anything.
Yeah, and it also just kind of like assimilates them,
Yeah, pretty much.
which is not like the scariest, right?
Right. It's
Mhm.
like yeah, like Chris Kattan's character gets like just sucked up as soon as he opens the door.
That
and
doesn't
he's
make
like,
that bothers me because so Price sees this thing, he runs, and then he tries to save everybody else. It's like, run, it's coming, run, and they're like, you're alive, because they're like, what the fuck? We
It's
just
like-
killed you.
By the way, everyone is still alive almost.
Yeah,
You thought was
yeah.
dead.
Yeah. So she runs. Yeah, pretty much. So they run through the house, and then they're like, he shuts, he's like banging on the door, let me in. And they open the Price gets in, and the thing just kind of sucks Chris Kattan in really awkwardly.
Yeah, it does. It's so funny.
And you're like, oh man, he's the best one. And then, guys, my least favorite shot in this movie is when Price saves Sarah from the entity. Because it's that profile shot. He's like, no, like the way he put it, it's so horribly like.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I
staged.
laughed out loud at him saying no.
It's horribly staged. It's horribly blocked and shot, and it's just like, and you see the cloud, it gets him. Not the best, but either way,
bad.
Kattan's character, because they're like they have to go through all this crazy shit, go up into the attic, which has like this dumbwaiter kind of mechanism that opens the shades, and
the lockdown situation.
Yep. And so then the entity's like, I guess, burning the rope as this is happening. So it shuts down the windows
with like one little ghosty string.
Yeah. Yep.
It's like
doing that. So it does the whole ghosty thing, drops it, and so she's trapped on one side, he's on the other. Which, by the way, she turns around and starts banging on that thing. She's like 4,000 feet in the air. I would have been like, no! So I'm clinging to the wall for dear life.
Literally.
I mean, she makes a comment whenever they're safe and like, yeah, how do we get out of here?
So Kattan's caretaker, his ghost appears, and because I guess it wasn't assimilated for some reason. Maybe because he was pure and he wasn't evil. Like, kind of everybody else's whose soul was in there was kind of evil, right, to a degree, or they were malicious. Price, even though he like was heroic towards the end and tried to save them, is trying to murder his wife. Evelyn murdered a guy and was trying to murder her husband. Melissa was like just a heartless, terrible like reporter, I guess. But he was just there trying to fucking live his life, I guess. So maybe it didn't assimilate him. I don't understand.
He was trying to leave. He was like just doing his job.
Yeah. So his ghost is out there, and he's the one that pulls the rope and lets Eddie leave. And then it's just trapped inside, I guess. They're out of the house. It's still just floating in there, and they're up on a giant cliff. But somehow, luckily, the envelope of the $5 million is there. $5 million check, and they pull it, and they're like, "Ha!" Because they're definitely going to cash these after they find out about all the murders that occurred in this house.
Yeah, well, they're definitely going to cash those as soon as they manage to find a way off of that cliff face.
I mean,
how are they going to get out of there?
They can figure it out. Just kind of
They're
fucking
stuck
scale
there.
it.
They're stuck.
They'll scale it. Just jump down into the water. We'll be fine. Just do it.
That would not be okay. That would not be okay.
Ethan Hunt does this shit all the time. You'll be fine. Ethan Hunt's a different specimen, though. But, yeah. That's kind of this movie. I mean, like I said, there's just some jump scares in between, but there's not a lot of, like, ghostly stuff that happens. It's more just this kind of weird murder mystery throughout it, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it kind of is, like, in a similar sense as the last movie of, like, who done it? Like, who's the one that's doing it? Everyone's kind of suspicious, and you don't know.
Everybody's there's, like, a lot going on. Did I miss anything that you guys wanted to talk about before we get into, like, the rating and shit of this? Is there, like, a particular scene that you want me to talk about? So, I remember being a kid, and I was like, I always thought this maybe was, on par with 13 Ghosts and what have you.
Mm-hmm.
But after watching it, I don't think it is. I think 13 Ghosts is better.
Yeah.
It's more memorable. I don't think this movie's terrible or anything. But, like,
I think it's a little scarier, too.
It's scarier, yeah. There's some stuff in this that I do like, but Derek, is there anything that I missed talking about that you wanted to touch on?
I mean, the one engineer guy had his, like, face cut off.
I was about to say that.
Yeah,
that was a good one. That is a good
one.
Like, reveal.
Yeah, the engineer guy. Yep, that was his. That's the guy that did nothing because I don't know what his fucking point was. Because I don't know where the traps were set.
Yeah, that's true. I was really confused about his character, and then he was just dead, and I was like, oh, well, okay.
Some engineer. Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah, I got nothing.
Yeah.
All right.
That's about it.
Derek, what do you think of House on Haunted Hill?
Get to 6.
That was quick.
That was quick.
It's the 6. What do you think? Give us an analysis about it.
They made this movie.
So you just think it? You don't think it? That's basically the critiques that we had through the whole thing.
I mean, I am sure my perception of this movie has changed over time, but also, like, I've matured. And, I mean, a lot of it didn't age very well. It was a very common story for the time. Like, the tropes were all, kind of the same as the, like, movies made around it. It doesn't stand out, really.
Yeah, and the characters aren't great. The only character that's interesting is Price and Catan's character, right? Evelyn, I guess, to a degree. But our leads are total, like, bores.
I personally think Evelyn is super annoying in this movie.
She is annoying. Especially when she wakes up from the dead. She's, like, incredibly annoying.
Yeah, and I think, like, when I was younger watching this, I didn't like this movie.
Yeah.
Like, specifically because of her and, like, the ghost cloud. Like, those two things, I was just like, this movie is not good. So when Derek picked this, I was like, well, first of all,
it wasn't my first choice, Lydia. Just know that.
So what are you going to give this one, Lydia?
I think I'm going to give it, like, a 6.5. Because I see what they were going for, and I love a haunted house movie. The only thing I don't like is just, like, this kind of actually reminded me a little bit of, like, American Horror Story at some points.
Yeah, I can see that.
Do you see what I mean? Like, there's, like, the scene where he gets taken by the ghosts, and they're kind of, like, have these spooky little moments with the ghosts.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I don't know. I guess I liked it more than I thought I would, though. So,
you know what this movie needed?
Tom Atkins, which we forgot to Atkinize last week, so we'll have to retroactively do it.
This movie needed Liam Neeson to like kick some ghost ass or something.
Okay, like a
Well, I don't know.
haunting.
Liam Neeson in ghost movies don't turn out too well either because we have The Haunting. But
That was a reference to that. I was
yes. But here's the deal.
Yeah.
With this movie for me is I'm struggling to decide what I want to rate it. Probably a
Yeah.
6, but I kind of also want to give it like a 5.5. But I think that's a little too harsh because I don't think this movie is terrible. Like I said,
It's
I see
just
what they're
very
going
tropey for
It's
the
just
time.
it's just very bland and forgettable. There's some cool ideas, maybe. I'll probably give it a 6, but I'm kind of with you guys. Like, just you know, especially comparing it to other ghost stories that have come out since and before. Like, I mean, Poltergeist, it's a goddamn 10. Like another level.
Right.
But I don't know. Like, there's stuff in it that I like. There's like, here's what it is for me. The first 25 minutes of this movie, first 20 minutes, love. And I remember as I was watching it, I was like, you know what, this movie may be cheesy, but I kind of fucking dig it. This is a fun time.
Yeah.
And then once they get to the house, it gets boring for me because it's all just the same kind of dimly lit hallways, dimly lit areas. The production design is kind of boring. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, especially when you come off of watching Tenebrae, like we did last week, where that's the opposite. The production design is everything. In this,
I mean,
like,
I think
there's
the
some,
sets are cool.
yeah, but I don't think they're. I think it's kind of just everything's just the same. Every room kind of looks uniform to me.
There is literally a point where she walks in a big circle.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, yeah, I'm gonna give it like a 6, I guess.
Lydia,
It's
what did
not
you give this?
I give it a
6.
6.5.
You should just give it a regular 6. Then we would have been like the devil.
All right, that's fine. You can mark me as a 6.
Yes, 666.
We've done that with one other movie. I can't remember what
Yep.
movie it was now.
We'll have a list one day of the evilest movies, and it'll just be all the ones that we all rated 6s.
Yeah, they're just like kind of mediocre movies.
They're mediocre movies that are, they're mid. But that is The House on Haunted Hill. Guys, so we have to Atkinize this movie. Who would the great Tom Atkins play in this one?
Thrill me.
Probably.
Because Jeffrey Rush is great in this movie as
I
Price.
really
think
love
he's
Jeffrey
great.
Rush in this.
Yeah, he's great in this.
He's stole the show for me personally.
Yeah, me too. He's awesome. I think he's having a blast. You tell he's having fun.
Yeah. How could you not? How could you not have fun with that character?
And you're dressed like Vincent Price. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying. It's like, that's iconic. It's wonderful.
I think that maybe he would replace
like the doctor character. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah, Peter Gallagher's character.
Mm-hmm.
He would do good at that too.
Yeah, because you could see why somebody's having an affair with him. Or that's what I'd say.
Yeah.
And now we're going to retroactively we need to Atkinize Tenebrae. He would be good in the lead role. The actor's really good, but he'd fucking crush that.
Yeah.
So that's who he'd play. He'd play Peter Neal in Tenebrae. But that is The House on Haunted Hill. Lydia, it's your turn to pick. What are we watching?
Yes. So, do you want to watch the original House on Haunted Hill?
It's up to you. It's your choice.
How do you feel about it, Derek? Are you interested at all in watching the original after seeing this one?
It's probably better than this one.
Well, we can. It's up
Interestingly, it probably has similar issues for its time.
It definitely has similar issues, but just slightly better executed, I think.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Let's do that. Let's do that one.
Okay. We're going to do The House on the Haunted Hill, which you can find anywhere because it's in public domain. So you pick a place, it's probably there. It is. I will. Double check on the places that it is streaming.
I definitely own it.
It should be everywhere because it's public domain, like I said. So you can watch it on Tubi, Roku channel, Crackle, Plex, AMC. Lydia, you can watch it on Fubo.
No way.
Fubo! Back, baby.
Finally.
It's available on all those places. The House on Haunted Hill, it is in the public domain. It's because the film was published in the United States between 1930 and 1963, and the copyright was not renewed. So there's no copyright owner.
So you're saying we could remake it?
Correct. And, we could also put it in our movie. So, like, when people are sitting around watching TV, if we wanted them to be watching a movie and we didn't want to pay for it or license it, be House on Haunted Hill or Night of the Living Dead is what people usually pick because they're both in the public domain.
Nice.
So that's why you see every movie, everybody's watching Night of the Living Dead. That's why.
Yeah.
All right, and that's our show. Be sure to comment down below on your thoughts on the House on Haunted Hill. Let us know what you think of next week's episode. What are you excited to watch? That House on Haunted Hill again, but older in black and white. Derek, it is in black and white, FYI. You can suggest a movie to watch right down below, and visit us at our website at HiLaProductions.com. Visit Facebook at HiLa Productions. Follow us on all those things. We're making the movie. It is chugging along. So just keep up. That way you can keep up to date. You'll find us all on IMDb as well. So look at our creds and rate all of the other films that are on there. All of our films. So until next week, for Derek Lemaster and Lydia Judy, I'm Jamie Hiles. Remember, if you're going to scream bloody movie.